Sounds good.
Right. We should be going live. Let me make sure I mute our feed so we don't hear it twice. But and I'll get out all the socials now. Social.
Is this what I look like when I eat?
Yeah, bro.
It's kind of fucking hot, dude. Oh.
Dang,
What
bro.
you look
Give me
like
that. Dude, give me the glizzy POV.
The way they wrote beef on my receipt was so off-putting.
You were really offended that they wrote beef in all caps.
Alright. Let me get it up on my other screen just so I can moderate and all that. But I think we're about ready, Zerk.
Cool.
Oh, well, I guess before I hand it off, I'll just say, yeah, we're at 38 followers at the moment, and tonight will also be the last stream we need to hit the, I think it's like 8 for the month in the 30-day period. So we're well on our way to affiliate. So that's really, really cool, and that's I think that'll be a big milestone. So super excited for that. But that's all I got. So otherwise, I'll hand it off to you, Zerk.
Cool. Did anyone else have any questions or need any reminders from last week before we start?
Do
I'm ready to rock and
we
roll.
learn more about custard damage or not?
Yeah, does custard damage carry over?
Yeah, true. Does it reduce my total HP?
Yeah, I assume we'll just not worry about it since we didn't set it up between sessions, but however we want to handle like all my spell book's still empty on my sheet, but however works best to just handle my randomness of spells, let me know.
Yeah. Yeah. If we come to a point where we need to worry about it, we'll just do it on the fly. But I don't anticipate a huge need for it. But we'll see.
Our cams froze, but that's okay. I'll go ahead and switch us over to icons anyway. That's probably on my end. But oh, I have a surprise for everybody. I don't know which of our players is watching the stream, but if you guys want to check out.
Oh my gosh. That's so cool.
Hogged out of our gourds.
Yeah.
Holy heck.
So I still gotta get Cade or Dan's and Brett's, but they had some original art, so I put that in there for the time being, and I think it actually looks pretty awesome. So.
Cool.
Very nice. They are coming along for sure.
Yeah. I threw Kaylin's together in the 45 minutes before we started today, so hopefully you like it, Kaylin.
Moly.
We can work on it
She's
more,
cute.
get it closer. So, but
He's cracked.
I figured
Yeah,
that'll
you
be
have
a
no
good
idea
start.
how long it would take me to do that. Probably 2 weeks. Well, actually, probably way more.
Give a quick little design treatment to the Zerk PNG.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely need to get you something there, Zerk. But,
Drop that in for him.
I wish I had Photoshop on this computer.
oh, yeah. At Zerk's request, I did not put the Zerk icon.
Well, yeah, that was the old one. This is the new one.
Yeah, we'll just leave mine blank for now. It's fine.
Put the laughing emoji
We'll
over
find
his
something.
face.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, the laughing man. Yeah.
Oh, that fits him.
Uh-huh. Alright.
Okay, cool. Does anyone want to do a recap? I know I've never had you guys do recaps before, but I know it's what a lot of tables like to do. Or if not, I can just do a quick recap for us if no one wants to volunteer.
I do not.
Assuming Brett and I remember anything.
Because you don't
Yeah.
remember, Brett?
Yep.
True.
It's like you know me.
Yeah, I'd say go ahead and do it, Zerk.
Yeah. So
Oh, I need to send you.
last session was our second session where we started off.
Kyle,
Am
you're
I echoing?
echoing there. I think you're good now.
Roma. Okay. Yeah. So last session we started off in the small park area south of the Bubble Pop Teapot with Madrick Roslov, who was discussing Domino's possible employment with the carnival. He told Domino of a vacant and available fortune teller stand on the north side of the carnival and instructed Cade to kind of escort him up there and put on a first show and see how the audience reacted, what his kind of reception was, and based on that, kind of take that information back to the carnival owners and talk about potential employment that would satisfy both them and Domino. So you all did indeed head that way. On your way there, you ran into the large treant individual named Northwind and her small squirrel companion named Red, who were marching through the main causeway of the carnival, giving people gifts in the forms of Make-A-Wish dandelions and golden seeds that were raining from the sky all around Northwind's top. A few of you caught some golden seeds that transformed into benefits to your character, small gold pieces, etc., etc. I believe Makit and Nico were the only ones to take dandelions from Red and blow them out while making a wish, at which point you moved on, and Domino performed his first fortune-telling performance to none other than his first customer, who was Roma. Roma was, for one reason or another, a little put off by the
Shook, bro.
by the service, but after chasing after her, the situation was quickly remedied, and a few things were explained about how the whole process works, and everything was just fine. You guys then headed towards the very top of the carnival, towards the feasting orchards, because you guys were hungry, and you guys got some food, and also took place in a custard eating contest, of which a few of you pathetically dropped out of almost immediately, while one among you went on to actually win the entire contest. But not before meeting an individual named Eliwick Tumblestrum, a halfling individual who seems to be your mysterious benefactor. And excuse me, she is not a halfling, she was a gnome. And she had a large, pale, orange-eyed frog, sort of familiar. And she was saving some seats for you. Again, seemed to be your mysterious benefactor, knowing for some reason you would come to the carnival and already seemingly saving you seats in a place where she knew you would end up. But you kind of talked to her a little bit. She was very mysterious, didn't really give you any clear answers on the few questions you posed to her. But we ended the session with you all kind of wrapping up with her briefly to stuff your faces with custard, and a few of you are at the start of tonight still recovering on the ground from pushing yourselves to your absolute limits in the face of such a large amount of custard cake. But at this point, as we begin, we will say that the very large crowd that was at the feasting orchard seemed to be in large part for the contest. A good portion of the crowd has dispersed elsewhere into the carnival. However, there's still a lot of people here. This is like the main place where you get nourishment, other than the few food stalls around the carnival. But we are going to go ahead and really pick up. Maybe about a little bit of time has passed. A few of you perhaps did lose consciousness briefly from your custard overdose, but you awake with custard all over your chest and your collars, but you quickly wipe yourselves off, and you're really free to meander wherever you will go. Eliwick is still swinging in the tree swing where she initially was. She seems to just kind of be minding her own business while kind of like eyeing you all every so often.
Is Roma still on the table, like screaming about her victory?
Roma's basically asleep at this point on the table, with a big old bulging belly.
Yeah, a little bit of time has passed since Roma's victory again, so a few of you have gotten a few very short naps, if you will, and actually because of it, one of the first things that happens in this session that you all see is another firework explosion coming from the direction of the big top, in much the same way as you've seen 2 or 3 times before. And this explosion kind of goes off and again signifies that another hour has passed in the carnival.
Okay. So that puts us at probably like, what, 9 or 10-ish? Or a little earlier?
That will put us around 11 o'clock.
Okay, cool. Yep. 11. And so the big top would be in an hour, so that's coming soon then.
Yep. So yeah, you would definitely know that the big top is looming in the distance, and you can already hear a little buzz from some conversations you can hear around you mentioning that it is soon.
Nico, after wringing the custard out of his cravat, is going to try to nudge Roma awake. Roma.
Nico, I'm so full, Castor.
Oh, Roma, I must say you are truly the better eater among us. I tip my I tip my hat to you.
Nico, if I do not survive, tell Makita not to touch my things.
Very well. Though perhaps you should speak to Eliwick. She did mention some sort of prize for winning the contest. After all, she at least said, upon your victory, such and such and such. So,
Roma looks at Nico. Nico, I've received my prize. My invisibility cupcake.
Right. The invisibility cupcake.
Who could eat it at a time like this?
I'm gonna kind of look over to Eliwick. Has she said anything since we?
No, she hasn't. She seems to be. I mean, she seems to be minding her own business. Like I said, she still seems a little interested in you, but she definitely seems like she is letting you all recover.
Okay,
per se.
Sure. Got our space. How's the rest of the party looking? I know Domino, Cade, y'all tapped out.
Yeah, Domino definitely tapped out before he hit his limit, so Domino, you're fine. McKeat was one of the last few in, so McKeat is looking pretty rough in terms of custard devastation. But she seems like she's recovering a little bit better.
Paunchy belly. Like a little kitty belly.
Yeah, she's a fat cat right now.
Awesome. Uh, well, which attraction did a lot of you fancy next? Big tops in an hour, after all.
Yes, what it takes an hour?
Well, I personally wanted to keep an eye out. The famous Gnomon Poetry Slam is happening any minute now, and I tend to enjoy submitting my own verses each time the Witchlight comes around.
I mean, from what I've heard so far, it seems like that'd be right up your alley.
Of course. Eliwick, what are your plans?
You turn and ask her, and she's she was just lightly swinging on her swing and kind of strumming a few strings on her instrument, and she goes, well, I reckon I'm just gonna hang out here now that I've made sure that y'all have recovered a little bit from your competition. A few of you more than others. She kind of notions towards the smaller individuals of the group who are devastated yet victorious in many ways. And she says, I might meander about the carnival, but I'm not quite sure. I've been a couple times, but there are a few attractions that actually are new this time around. So I might go take a look at them. But I'll certainly be around. I'll see you again for sure, especially if you need me.
Of course, I'd love to pick your brain about that gorgeous instrument of yours. And he kind of like points at that. What is that, like a lute that she carries around or something?
Yeah, it's a very ornate looking lute. Just from looking at it, you get hints of like elvish influence in its construction, but it definitely looks very ornate and very fancy compared to the few you've seen.
Fine craftsmanship with that one. Very nice.
Oh, it definitely has a long story to it, but perhaps another time.
Of course. I will take you up on that.
Of course. Well, I'm gonna hang out here for a little bit, get myself some actual food, and if you need anything, just I'm sure we'll bump into one another.
Well, shall we? Where the rest of you want to head?
Yeah, Cade wipes his mouth and kind of shakes his head. I knew that custard was a bad idea.
One, quick, roll me over. I can't get up. And she see McKeat like struggling on the ground.
I mean, wherever all of you want to go. I mean, I admittedly feel like the southern half of the carnival I kind of glaze-eyed past because also focused on, the job posting and everything, that I don't feel like I got the proper time to appreciate what was around there. So I'm down for just exploring what the carnival has.
Cool. Yeah, I have gnome poetry in big letters in my notes, so.
For no reason.
Yeah, and then we could do like I've got a list of things and we can talk about that afterward too. So
Well, as there's no more food involved.
yeah. Yes, I believe I am a bit satisfied.
Yes, I think that's enough custard for me for a lifetime.
So the gnome thing, that was like just south of where we are, right?
Yeah, it was on this side. I can go ahead. Do you guys want a list of what is near you up here, or do you want to head there and then, if you're not sure where you want to go after that, you can ask them.
So partner up on the gondola swans. I'm just purely gonna go by the labels on the map.
Yeah, that sounds good. We'll get a sense of it as we go, I think, right?
Yeah, you actually look, Domino, and you look over to the west, and you can see the large body of water where the gondola swans seem to be arriving and departing, and you see that the swans, they actually depart the dock towards the east, but you see sorry, not the east, to the west, and disappear out of view. But I'm actually sorry. It's the opposite way. They start and head east, and then you can see swans arriving from the west and dropping people off at the docks. But from what you can tell, these swans they travel around at a rather slow pace the entire circumference of the carnival, because they travel around the perimeter kind of river. And you can actually see kind of on the outskirts of the feasting orchard that these swans are massive, like ginormous swans. You see a swan with like 2 people on it, and they seem dwarfed by the swan. You at first think that no one's even on it, and then you see a party of like 7 or 8 people on the next swan. It seems like these swans can hold a lot of people, and it's not just like 2 per.
Are they real swans or are they like fake boats?
From what you can tell, they're real swans. They're moving around animated and stuff. You're not sure if it's magic without getting closer, because it is a little bit far off, but it would be impressive magic if they were fake and moving that way.
If I wasn't here on business, I would want a swan.
Well, the night is young there, Domino.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Just need them to say yes.
When does the poetry thing start?
It seemed as if it would start at any moment. Perhaps we should head there.
That sounds good to me.
Thank you for indulging an old bard.
Maybe it will make me a fan of poetry yet.
Yeah, let's say we head there.
Okay, sounds good. So the gnome poetry contest was a small stall, so you guys can head there. It's actually right on the outskirts of the carousel field, so I'll move you guys there. So you guys just head like right down right here. It's almost on the direct other side of the Dragonfly rides, you can see. And it's a small, let me see, so yeah, it's a small stand. It's not a building. This poetry contest seems to be going on like out in the open, so for anyone to see. And you see a small gnome in what looks like kind of a open front tuxedo that's almost lime green, and he has red hair that's slicked back in like this curly wave pattern, and on his back he's wearing blue and red sets of butterfly wings, and he has kind of an open frock on his front, very old-time English style to give you something to visualize. And his pants are they're vertically striped pants. The pants themselves are orange, and the stripes are like pink. And he has kind of high white socks with black slippers on. And as you approach, he kind of yells out and says, "Sound the chime, it's time to rhyme. You'll bring the poem, we'll bring the noem."
Well, that already just sounds like
Oh.
Nico.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
my good sir, I have several poems, perhaps, for us to peruse. But I would like to go ahead and submit my entry.
Oh, well, of course, it's not really a situation where you submit something. It's more of a ad hoc competition. I sling a couple rhymes at you, and you sling a couple back, and the audience determines who is the winner.
Oh, it's like a rap battle. Oh shit.
Oh my gosh.
I was not
Yes.
prepared for that. Okay. Well, not my normal style. But we're already here. We may as well give it a try.
Of course. Would you like to go first, or should I? Oh, actually, I am sorry. I need to stamp your ticket first, sir.
Yes, of course. Nico will go ahead and hand it over.
Okay. He takes your ticket and goes ahead and stamps it. It's your first stamp, actually. So you still have 7 usages of it. He goes, anyone else? You seem to have a little group here. Anyone else looking to rhyme off the cuff?
Domino will do that thing where he just looks around, like hoping nobody notices him.
The John Travolta look around.
You know.
You see, big fellow, what about you? You seem to be avoiding my gaze. Would you like to come up here and sling a little poetry with your friend and I?
I'm very curious to see how my friend does here, so I'm strictly gonna observe. Thanks, though.
Okay, very well. And he turns back to you, Nico, and says, "What's your name, good sir? What do I have the pleasure of calling you by?"
You may call me Nico Rosmeros, the Wild Rose. You may also call me an imbecile, a cheat, anything. Take your fancy.
Nico's just fine, sir. Nico, would you care to go first, or shall I?
By all means, it is only the gentlemanly thing to do, to allow you to establish your bars.
Okay. Very well. And you could see he kind of like pulls himself up a little bit, very much like the picture, slings his right hand behind his back and pulls his left to his chest in a very prim and proper way and goes, "There's a whisper in the moonlight, there's aroma in the air. We've heard about the sleight of hand that plays on love's despair. The tickets for the Ferris wheel that goes round and round and round are free to all who rode before the carnival is coming to town."
Very nice.
And you can hear that the crowd kind of like, you know, it's a modest clap. And he goes, "Yes. Now for you, Mr. Nico."
Poem, take your pick. Choose it wisely, choose it quick. How about Makit? What would you rather hear? I've got one about a priest, one of a golem, and one of a thief.
Let's do the thief.
The thief, yes. And Nico pulls his mandolin off his back very, like, dramatically. Kind of anime, like, shing, you know. Alright. 'Twas in a quite rowdy beer hall. A halfling argued with the law. But he had quite a grift. A short whip was his gift. Old Shortfoot, stand tall, stand tall. And then he, like, kind kind of gestures to the crowd, kind of like goad them into singing along.
Okay.
He sings the verse again. 'Twas in a quite rowdy beer hall, a halfling argued with the law. But he had quite a grift, a sharp wit was his gift. Old Shortfoot, stand tall, stand tall.
Okay. Go ahead and make a performance check for me.
Yes.
That's the most performance check shit I've ever seen in my life.
With
Actually,
advantage.
I am gonna give you advantage with
Hey,
this
let's
because, yeah, you played an instrument and you sang.
Oh, good, because I need it. Let's... Oh, not good. Okay. 9.
I need to figure out why it's not doing the double rolls again, but okay, a 9. You can see that the crowd is, they were amused. They clap, but just about as much as they clapped for the gnomish fellow who went before you. And he says, "Well, I certainly don't have a musical accompanation with me, but that was very good, Mr. Nico. Quite props to you.
He gives a little bow.
Shall we go again? It does not seem like the crowd has made up their mind."
Of course.
All right. They've been round here forever, like spirits in the woods, hiding in the shadows until the time seems good. For a fee, they'll change your world. They'll give you smiles for frowns. Magic rabbits pull from hats. The carnival's coming to town. You can tell that this guy, he has a very...
He's got a shtick. He's got
a shtick, and he's sticking with it
Yeah,
for sure. And I'm gonna go ahead and make a roll for him.
What percentage of the crowd is our group? Are we 50% of the crowd, or is it a giant crowd and we're a small part of it?
Surprisingly enough, or perhaps unsurprisingly enough, the gnome poetry contest stand has the smallest crowd you've seen at any of the attractions. There seems to be about about 7 other people here other than you. So you guys, you all are actually a pretty good portion of the crowd. But
Excellent. I got people in my corner.
to you, Mr. Nico.
Ha! To this one,
Wait, Roma's gonna gesture to Nico real quick.
Yes, Roma.
Come here, Nico. Listen, here's some guidance for you.
Much obliged, dear Roma.
Remember to sleep on your side if you black out.
Well, Roma, poem, take your pick. Choose it wisely, choose it quick. Would you like to hear the one of the golem or the priest?
I would like to hear about your golem friend.
Yes, of course. A lass made of metal and lumber, whose name was only a number. A ghastly sight, she gave me a fright, from which I have yet to recover. A lass made of metal and lumber, whose name was only a number. A ghastly sight, well, she gave me a fright, from which I have yet to recover.
Rhymes! Woo! I nudge McKee and I just go berserk.
Cade claps by he has his arms crossed. He claps by tapping his bicep. Beowyn is going ape on his shoulder, doing flips, losing her sprite mind.
Let's go.
All right, go ahead and make a performance with advantage for me.
I got a hype crowd, hype man. Oh, these rolls are not great. Well, 14 though. That's all right.
You get my guidance as well.
Oh, that's right. Is that +2?
Yeah, to both of them.
Okay.
All right. So your friends, which are a large portion of the crowd, roar in applause, and the few individuals who aren't with you all actually Like it's one of those awkward moments where they seem like they were just gonna like do the polite amount of clapping, but it's like one of those moments where everyone else is standing up and clapping in the movie theater. I might as well. I better too. So they start clapping really hard as
Not
well.
in the theater, man.
Guilty.
Exactly.
I'm guilty as charged.
The gnomish individual goes, "Well, Mr. Dico, it seems like I have met my match this day." And he does a short like bow to you and says, "Now, if you'll give me just a moment, I will fetch your prize."
Very well. Much obliged, dear sir. A stiff competition.
And he disappears behind the stall. And let's see what he emerges with. All right. He emerges with a what's the size of this? It's about a 2 foot long white pinata that is a perfect replica of a unicorn.
Oh, sick.
And he brings it out and he hands it to you and goes, "Your prize, good sir."
Beautiful. Much obliged. It reminds me of my horse.
And as you take it, you can already you can feel a few things falling on your boots, and you look down and there's already a few pieces of candy falling out of this this pinata. So you have won a unicorn pinata filled with candy.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, came a little pre-busted, but honestly, you kind of want it started a little bit, because otherwise you're just there all day waiting for the person to hit it down. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, that's sick. All right, I'll go ahead and I'll just carry that under my arm, I guess, while we traverse.
Yeah, you have to carry that the rest of the night.
That's very
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And you feel good because you do see a few of the. You assume that your newfound friends embellished it a little bit, and being a performer, like you're no stranger to this, right? But you do see a few of the individuals that you don't know that are now moving away from the stall. They seem to be in higher spirits than they were before they left.
It's all
That's
part
what
of
matters.
Yeah, it's all part of the game. It's good to have some hype people around. So Nico will rejoin the group and kind of give them a little bow. I appreciate the support, friends.
Yeah, I mean, you had the whole crowd back here cheering for you.
Well, I suppose we should get going. We shouldn't dally at the poetry stall all night, but much obliged. I appreciate you indulging me once again.
Is when this, do we know when his next show is? We could come back and take another prize. We could just bully him for the remainder of our time.
It is a bit against the artist's ethic to do so, I believe.
Yeah, let's let him build his confidence up again. That way we'll at least get some interesting rhymes.
That's very smart. You don't want to fish in the same spot too many times.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly right.
Well, onward we go. I don't know what you guys want to do or try out next, but
I would assume.
Go
Go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
I would assume we only have maybe 30 minutes or so till the big top starts.
You've got about 45. Yeah, it's you certainly weren't slinging rhymes for 30 minutes. I'd say that's for sure.
It was a quick stop.
Yeah.
What else shall we do?
I've got a list that I wrote down when we were on the other side. I know like Mystery Mine, Pixie Kingdom, Snail Racing, Guess the Feathers, Hall of Illusions. That's what I wrote down. And I know
I'd
there's
be-
more around too, but
I'd be pretty curious to check out the Hall of Illusions. Always like a good magical twist like that.
of course.
Yes, that sounds fun.
Cool. So you would know that the Hall of Illusions is on the pretty much the exact opposite side of the carnival from where you are right now. you're not sure the nature of the attraction at the Hall of Illusions, how long it'll take, but it'll probably take you like 5 or 10 minutes to get there with the amount of crowds there are. But it's still close to the big top, so
Okay.
you know.
Cool. Yeah, as long as we could make it to the big top on time, I'd say that'd be the play.
Sure.
Do you mean to rhyme that time?
Ah,
He can't help himself.
And so it's just in your
He's-
nature now.
Hall of
Matter of
Illusions, Hall of Delusions, Hall of Intrusion. And
I think it's causing you much confusion, Nico.
Yeah, just walk it off, Nico.
Nice one.
Walk it off.
I see I'm rubbing off on you a bit, Roma.
Oh God, no! Please, please, God. Okay, let's hustle.
Yeah, we'll briskly walk to the Hall of Illusions.
I've been trying to move my token this whole time, but the game's paused.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't.
Freedom.
Cool.
Oh, I'll race you.
Interesting. It let us keep making rolls and such with the game paused. Whee!
Sprint.
So you guys make it to the Hall of Illusions. I'm gonna go ahead and swap the music here.
Put on the Hall of Illusions music.
No, just back to the stuff that we've been listening to before. So you all make it to the Hall of Illusions. As you approach, you see that this large tent is painted with kind of a mural of shifting images that show grinning fairies diving into pools of color. The helical stripes of the tent's pointed canopies are kind of rotating in spirals, and the whole display seems kind of designed to befuddle onlookers. And you can look at it and you can feel like your eyes kind of beginning to cross as, you know, your eyes are trying to follow these patterns that like aren't really making sense due to magic. You see standing in front, a clown is dressed in muted garb, standing at the tent's entrance. He seems... It's strange. Everyone is so jovial and colorful at the fair that this individual seems to really stand out. He seems rather dour. He's dressed in very muted colors. It looks like his skin isn't completely covered up by paint, and in fact he doesn't have much paint on him at all, and you could see most of his skin on his face and his forearms, and it looks like all of the color has drained out of his skin and his hair and whatnot, and he looks rather unhappy, I guess, compared to literally everyone else. I'll have this individual pop up right here, and I will show you some art for him.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ugh.
But this individual just kind of blinks at you as you step forward. Doesn't say anything.
Anybody else want to take the lead on this one?
Zork, would I know this fellow?
Make a intelligence check.
So no. Okay.
Yeah. You don't know this individual personally, like you haven't spoken with this individual, but there was an event that happened recently in your short amount of time at the carnival that kind of made this individual well known in like not the best way. You would know what that situation was, but without going into detail, you would know that this individual's name is Candlefoot, and they have recently lost their voice for whatever reason, and you know that they cannot speak. And in recent days, they've communicated only in writing or mimery.
And you said that they've just exited the Hall of Illusions looking worse for wear?
The
Or
Hall
did I
of
misinterpret
Illusions.
that?
The Hall of Illusions looks fantastic. The individual.
Yeah, I mean him.
Yeah, he just looks rather dour. I mean, he doesn't look beat up or anything. He looks like he's wearing clothes of a fairy. He's got a pointed hat. You know, he's got kind of this frock on that ends in this pointed fashion. Looks like it would be a very colorful costume, but for some reason, it just isn't. Like it kind of just defies your expectations based upon everything you've seen. And he's very, especially with him sitting in front of this very, kind of spectacular building.
His essence has been sapped.
Sans.
Candlefoot.
You see him kind of perk up towards you. And you actually see him begin to move his mouth, and as nothing comes out, you see him kind of like take a breath and stop, and you see a visage of like disappointment dawn on his face, and he kind of raises his hand that's not holding the ticket puncher and just kind of like lazily waves it at you.
Poor guy.
I'll go up with my ticket.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. If you hand him your ticket, and he takes it very weakly. He seems to be very like unenthused about it, and he just stamps all of y'all's tickets who are wanting to head in, and hands them back to you.
Much obliged, my friend.
I'll give him a polite nod as I take it back.
Okay. He's like very droopy eyed, just kind of gives you all nods.
Yeah.
As Cade goes past him, he leans over and says, Candlefoot, this is a carnival, remember? And kind of lifts his... Cade lifts his own shoulders and kind of, mimes to him, look alive.
Okay. You
And how does he react to that?
he's watching from a side eye, and he like kind of like takes a deep breath and turns and looks at you and just does he mimes back to you basically the equivalent of like, yeah, whatever, and then holds up a thumbs up to you.
Nice.
You don't want to have guests mistaking this ride for a morgue, Candlefoot.
He tries to mime back to you. Well, I guess it's not really sign language, right? He kind of takes his hand and like notions towards his neck, and like just beats on his chest and throws his hands up in the air.
Cade, raises an eyebrow, but then Beowyn goes, "Oh, I know exactly what he's saying. He's mad that he didn't get to do the custard contest."
At this point, Candlefoot is swinging his arms like cross each other in the no.
He's saying he would have wiped the competition.
Candlefoot just face palms in one of his hands and just like slams the puncher down on the wood stage that he's standing on. It's just like, have the rest of you gone in, by the way, at this point? Are you just watching this?
I'm like taking, like, I'm at the doorway into it. I probably like stepped towards going in, but like stood back to listen to all this, and probably would have been like, I agree with you, Faywin. I think that's probably what his deal is.
Candlefoot's trapped in an emotional imaginary box.
I'm trapped in a glass case of emotion.
Domino is still on the other side of the carnival here. Let me move him.
Oh, my bad.
Ran over.
And I'm just like sprinting.
You do see a slight smile crack on Candlefoot's face with Baywin's constant like jovial explanations of what he's doing, but he's still like not as aggressively, but he's just like you could tell he's very just like, I don't know.
Yeah. I feel so bad for this guy.
Mm-hmm. And you would know, Cade, that he was not always this way. He did have a voice at some point in the past. But I can, since you do have a history with the carnival, and you would have been there for it. I can either explain that to you now, or after you guys go through the halls of illusion.
After's fine with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure one of us will ask him about it.
Yeah, what's up with the?
Yo, explain to us all right now why you can't talk.
Yeah, or else.
Yeah, Beowin is a great interpreter.
You've got 30 seconds. Go.
Desaturated link over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Nico's gonna press forward through the big doors.
Yeah, I'll go into the halls.
Okay. Awesome. You all head inside, and you immediately come to find what you expect. Really, it's like an internal maze of just walls of mirrors that seem to shine with a prismatic hue. They're just not normal mirrors. They seem to sparkle and cast their light and reflections with kind of a rainbow hue, if you will. It is rather dark in here, but it seems to be illuminated with just kind of like ambient lighting to where you're never really straining to be able to see what's in front of you, but it still like has this air of like mystery. Ooh, this place is spooky and stuff. You all head in together. Go ahead and make me all of you. Assuming all of you are going in. Mickey, I haven't heard from you. Are you heading in as well?
I realized I was double muted. I said earlier that I was going in.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, so you all head in. Everyone give me a... what would this be?
Perception, insight,
Arcana.
Mirror.
Performance.
custard.
Go ahead and make a custard check for me. No.
Oh, my
Everyone go ahead
My
and...
dump stat.
Yeah.
Everyone go ahead and make a perception check for me. Sure.
Let's go,
Okay.
Roma.
So you all head in, and the walls of mirrors are playing tricks on you all. Like you're seeing your own reflections and your reflections of your companions ahead of you, to the left and right of you, being twisted by the perspective of all these different mirrors. And there's a lot of ways you can go. There's a lot of, it's like, again, it's a maze. You can go left, you can go right. There are some times where you have to, you come to find a dead end. And you do your best to follow each other, but almost immediately, like that, you think you're following the person in front of you, and Makit and Nico, you just find yourself alone. And there's a weird aspect to these mirrors. Everyone is perceptive enough to pick it up. There's no look in mirror check, like you're going to look into this mirror and see it. Is that the mirrors towards the front of the halls of illusions are reflecting your reflection but they're not showing you as you are now. They're actually showing you as you were when you were a child, many years younger. And it's kind of takes you aback, but if you were anywhere else in the world, it'd be super weird and creepy. But you're at the Witchlight Carnival, right? Like, it's obviously a magical trick, like, and it's not. It's a little off-putting for a moment because you don't see your reflection, and there's just that innate moment of what the heck's going on. Oh, it's a funny trick. It's showing me when I was younger. But as you move further into the Hall of Illusion, your reflection gets older and older until you reach a middle point where it's just your normal reflection. You see yourself as you are now.
Please describe to me what Kitten Makeet looks like.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
Oh my gosh.
If you want to, Mickey, you can. Go ahead.
She's very, very small. Like, I don't know, maybe like normal cat size.
Uh-huh.
And instead of almost all white like she is now with little faded bits of black, she's actually the reverse, where her almost like the top half of her was dipped into like black paint. She, from her head, starts black and starts fading down to white. And she has very, very big paws that are much bigger than her size
Oh, that's so cute.
as a kitten.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No.
We have to protect McKee at all costs now.
Oh, no. How can I ever kill something so cute?
You wouldn't dare, sir.
It was my plan all along. Make something too cute for you to kill.
Okay. Awesome. Fantastic. As you all move through the maze, and a few of you start getting lost, despite your best efforts, you start getting further into the maze where the mirrors are kind of creepily at this point showing you as you are older. And even to the point where, you feel like you're pretty deep in the maze, surely you must be reaching the end. Your reflection is showing yourself in your twilight years, really kind of old age. And would anyone like to describe their character as you think they would be at an older age? Perhaps what your characters are seeing. I know it's a strange off the cuff question to ask you to describe, but I was interested if anyone knew.
I don't know if I'll describe the whole thing, but you'll just see Domino make different reactions and disgusted faces and be like, ugh, well, I mean, at least I keep my hair. I guess that's the important part.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, when Domino says that, Nico, I guess, I don't, Domino isn't in my direct vicinity, but he's gonna kind of, look at himself, and it's at first, it looks like pretty much just a standard older version of himself, instead of, the dyed black hair, it's a light brown, more of his natural color. And then he kind of turns around in profile, and there's just a big bald ring on the back, on the back of his head, and he's like, "Yikes!" and he keeps going. But...
Gotta invest in some hats.
Awesome. Anyone else, or should we move on?
I want to hear what an old Roma was like.
Roma sees herself just a little bit taller, which she's disappointed with because she would hope she would get a lot taller. With some beautiful gold earrings and a bright orange scarf covering her head. And underneath the scarf, you can see two very bright brown eyes looking out.
Cade, as one, an ASMR, and two, a martial artist, looks almost the same. He largely has some wrinkles and lines around his face, and his hair is more pale, and his skin is perhaps not as taut after a few hundred years in the sun.
I imagine him like ripped like a Kuma or something, like super like wide and jacked.
Yeah, prison Ira vibes.
Awesome.
There it is.
Okay. So, as you all see this and begin to move through the hall, I want Makit and Nico to go ahead and make a perception check for me. Another one.
Keep closing my stupid character sheet. Okay. Ooh, nice, Makit.
Makit is not getting caught off guard again, it seems.
He was too upset by her kit himself.
So, Makit, you actually notice, and it's strange, like, there's no way you've successfully navigated back to the front of the tent. And the rest of you start to make turns left and right that don't really make sense as why you would end up at the front, but it's a magical maze, and you eventually do. You make a turn, and you see the light coming from the entrance, and you head your way out. And everyone, except for Makit, actually makes it out to the front of the cave, and you see Candlefoot kind of sitting there. And as you all exit, you turn, or he turns and kind of, shoots up a hand, his right hand, to greet you once more as you exit the hall. But Makit, you are lost for a little bit longer, and there's a moment where, it's actually quite fitting that you rolled a nat 20 on your perception check, because you have those big cat eyes and you're very perceptive. You actually catch something strange in a reflection. You've kind of filtered it out at this point. Yeah, old me. But in one of them, there's something strange. You catch a glint of something almost that looks ivory and crescent shaped, and it seems to shift in the mirror. And you stop for a moment, and you turn and look, and you see something standing behind your older reflection in the mirror. And what you see is a long, very tall looking figure standing behind your reflection. Has long black hair and a crescent moon mask that covers the entirety of this individual's face above the nose. The figure is draped in almost shadow-like, almost pitch black, just completely black, a top and a flowing kind of skirt that kind of just gently moves on its own in the reflection. And you turn and you see this figure, and let me grab you some art.
Nope. Oh shit.
And there's this moment where you just stand and look at this figure who's standing behind you.
That is.
Time to break the mirrors.
And then after a beat, the figure moves backwards in the reflection and just disappears. And it startles you a little bit, and you move on very quickly, and you take one or two more turns, and you find the light of the exit of the Hall of Illusions.
Gross.
Holy shit, dude. That is terrifying.
So it hasn't been too long before you guys. It's not been long enough to where you have to worry about Makit, but by the time you all start questioning it, you see Makit exit the Hall of Illusions and finally catch up with you all.
Ha. A bit of a cheap thrill, but I enjoy that one.
I do not want to go back in there.
Don't like what you saw, older Makit?
Yeah, I'm gonna need a.
Yes. Sure.
I think I'm with Makit. I don't know what they saw, but I need a drink after that realization of what's ahead of me.
You guys didn't like your reflections? I didn't.
I mean, look, no one wants to be told that they're probably at their peak of physical looks, and it's all downhill from here. It's a pretty brutal wake-up point.
Nico kind of like looks at Domino for a moment. Is Domino a human?
Yes.
Well, I suppose you do have that to worry about then. Satyrs,
Yeah.
we tend to remain handsome for most of our days.
That can't say I'm not envious of that. That sounds pretty good to me.
Nico kind of like rubs the back of his head, like runs his fingers through it.
Oh, Nico, look! Oh, hold on. Here, let me help you. And I brush some of the hair off of his shoulder. You get your shirt dirty with your oily hair.
Yeah. Thank you.
He shook.
Yeah, very shook. Yeah. Yeah. 1d6 psychic damage over here.
Longer days does not mean better days.
Hey, I'll raise a glass to that. I guess it's what makes every day worth living now, huh?
That's right. And all the better to be at the Witchlight Carnival.
Especially if, since us humans don't have as long of a lifespan, I guess we gotta do all we can.
Well then, in that spirit, where to next?
Cade would probably have a better feel. How much longer before the big top?
You guys were definitely at the Hall of Illusions for a lot longer than the poetry contest. You would probably say that just to be on the safe side, you probably don't want to do... It's probably like 10-15 minutes until the big top.
Well, Cade will sort of, look around, based on the movement in the crowds and all that. I'd say you have another quarter hour until the big top starts, which means you all can do pretty much anything in this southern loop, but I never like to be late, so I'll head off to the staff area and near the big top and get ready, and you'll see me later.
Sure thing.
Hey, you're performing.
Cade, not that he's a Debbie Downer, but just he's not so outwardly emotional, but he does let out a big smile and nod as he turns at a medium jog towards the big top.
Oh, can't wait to see your part. And we'll see you there.
Beowyn is like cheering and singing and laughing behind him as she swirls through the air.
That's adorable.
Cool.
I was gonna give you guidance, but guidance only lasts 1 minute, I guess.
Yeah. It's very much a combat or in the moment thing.
Well, I'll turn back to the rest of the group as Cade walks off. Well, I don't know about the rest of you. I was a little bummed I didn't get to try that Cyclops staring contest. I saw you guys taking a crack at that while I was still talking to for the job interview, but wouldn't mind taking a shot at that myself. Looked like Roma did a pretty good job at it.
It's just Cyclops.
What do you think, Roma? Think I can take him?
Yes, he's very weak and timid.
Perfect. Well, let's go see what he's got.
Let's take more of his prizes.
So I will say, as Cade goes and Roma begins to head down to the south with Domino, Nico and Makit, go ahead and make one more perception check for me.
Okay.
God, it's the moon guy. Oh God, he's gonna kill us all.
One of these days. Okay, here we go.
We've activated the Slender Man of the campaign. He's not gonna fight us. He's just gonna follow us the rest of the campaign.
That would be such a nightmare.
Dude, I got big into Slenderman when that was all I was there at the run up, so I'm about it.
So Makit, you're still a little frazzled. You're a little eager to get away from the halls of illusion for one reason or another. So you don't really catch what Nico does as you turn to potentially go down to the south, real quick to the Cyclops staring stand once again. Nico, before you turn away, you notice right about here, this ping, if you look to the top right, you see a halfling couple holding hands as they approach this object right here, which seems to be a glass cabinet on a small table that has something inside of it. And you see one of the halflings is wearing butterfly face paint, and he turns in front of they stop in front of this cabinet, and this individual turns to the other halfling that he was holding hands with, and he drops down on one knee and actually pulls out a small box from his pocket.
Oh, let's go. Very cute.
As he reaches upwards and begins to open the box, you see that his sweetheart that he was with falls over and almost bursts into laughter and begins rolling around on the ground.
Yo, that's cold.
Laughing out loud. And you see the halfling on the ground in the face paint immediately shoot up off of his knee. He begins sobbing and turns around and darts towards you into the nearby tent, which is the Hall of Illusions. You see him dart up onto the stage, straight past Candlefoot, who kind of is trying to get his attention, but obviously can't say anything. He's waving his arms, but this individual's inside of his hands at this point, sobbing, darts past Candlefoot into the Halls of Illusion without getting his ticket punched, and disappears into the Halls of Illusion. And you see the other halfling that was rolling around on the ground almost seemed to snap out of something. Like, she's rolling around laughing hysterically on the ground, and then it just immediately stops. Like, there's no wind down or anything, and you see her pull herself up onto her knees, look around, and go, Ruben, I'm sorry, I did not know what came over me. Where are you? And you see her take a few steps in one direction, hesitate, turn, look in one. She's unsure of herself right now.
Yeah, I want to look over at our desaturated man's friend's name here. I did
Candlefoot.
Right, Candlefoot. Right. Did you see that? That was quite odd.
You see Candlefoot, kind of nods to you and kind of twirls his hands, twirls one of his hands in the air, and like just
Like a crazy.
it is
like,
it is what it is, you know. Like it's the carnival. You see a lot of strange things.
If I like take a peek into the door of the hall, is he just like gone at this point?
You want to look inside the Hall of Illusions to see if you can see the individual?
Yeah, just like take a peek.
Sure. You'll need to make another perception check.
Okay.
You're like fifth one in a row to
Yeah.
peer inside.
13.
You don't see with a 13. You don't see the individual. The halfling seems to be gone, but you do see something moving in the mirrors, some sort of form. You can't really make out what it is, but you see that it starts kind of in one of the mirrors that's closer to the entrance and is moving inwards until it disappears.
Nico will kind of shout back to Makit since she's walking away.
She would be the closest, yeah.
Yeah, Makit, one moment. And Nico's gonna get a little closer.
Are you in the Hall of Illusions, or are you?
Not yet. I'm like
Oh,
on the
good.
threshold, basically.
Okay. Makit will walk up and ask what's wrong.
There was a man here. He seemed quite upset. I merely aimed to find him. It seemed some sort of misunderstanding. And I'm also going to gesture to the halfling woman that's kind of calling out to him and said, "He went this way, in here."
You're gonna call out to her?
Yeah.
Okay. She perks up at someone notioning to her and runs towards you and goes, I'm sorry. Were you speaking to me?
Yes, your lover. He is quite upset, but he went into the hall here.
Into the hall?
Yes. If you were looking for him, he's a bit out of sorts. He's very upset, but
I laughed at him at a rather unopportune time. I don't know what came over me. It was not intentional. He's rightly quite upset, and rightly so. Thank you. What's your name?
Nico. The name is Nico Rosmeros. At your service.
She kind of reaches up with you with the hand. My name's Ween Sundapple.
Win Sundapple.
Ween Sundapple.
Okay.
I'll paste it right
Okay.
here.
Ween Sundapple. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, and he'll like do the courtly thing and kind of like give her hand a peck and pleasure to make your acquaintance. You might want to go after him though. I am unsure this this thing will have the legs if you don't make your apology quick.
Quite. And she kind of nervously turns and like peers into the entrance. Says, "Not fond of dark places, but I better right what I wronged." You could tell she's nervous, and she says, as she turns to Candleflames, "Are you the ticket master?" And after a nod, she's like, "Right. Thank you, Nico, for your help." You can tell her hands are a little shaky, and as she's handing and taking back her ticket from Candleflame after getting it stamped, and she steps up onto the stage and heads inside.
All right. Yeah. Nico's just gonna give Candlefoot a little nod and kind of hop off the platform here and continue on with Makit.
Sure. Okay. You guys want to head back down to catch up with them?
Sure.
Alrighty. So we will head you guys to the Cyclops staring contest.
Our favorite attraction.
On your approach, again, right next to the ring toss attraction, and you can see the only other minor attraction in the area is the Count the Feathers attraction that has a few cage cockatrices, cockatrice, or whatever the plural is of that. But when it becomes apparent that it is your focus, and the Cyclops sees you come up, he goes, "Well, look who's back!" and takes note of Makit and Roma as you all approach.
I wanted to, as we were walking that way, Makit would have probably looked up at Nico and asked if we should have let her go in alone. Do you think she'll be okay?
I don't see why not. It is merely a trick, the illusions. Harmless.
If you say so. And she'll kind of like shudder a little bit, remembering the creepy guy.
Yeah.
You just committed murder. Those two aren't coming out of there.
Yeah, I already wrote in my notes that Ween is long gone. He's out of here.
We never heard of him. Never heard that name in my life.
Sweet Ween. She went in
So, y'all little ladies here for round 2, or we got some new challenges?
I've brought my disciple to challenge you.
I will also challenge you again.
Oh, a little bit of redemption, I see. All right, well, who's first?
So as soon as Roma said the disciple thing, Domino's just like standing behind her, cracking his knuckles.
Nice. The posse here.
Okay, here, I'm going to give you a tip, Domino.
I crouched down to listen.
I give you guidance.
I accept.
Well, don't keep me waiting.
Did you want to go first, Keith, or do you want me to?
Yeah,
No,
Mickey can go first. I'll
you
recast
weaken
guidance
him.
if we need. Yeah.
You weaken him first. Weaken his eye muscles.
I'll step up to the Cyclops.
Well, you the disciple?
Yeah, and I'm a little envious of you. You get the easy job. You get to stare at me.
Oh, let's go. That is my disciple. Let's go.
And I'll just crack a smile and
You get
myself.
He's kind of taken aback. He like he's laughing, but he's trying to hold it back, and he's like,
should have done that during the staring contest. Fuck.
"Well, whenever you're ready." He says with a smile.
I do that thing. I'm like kind of like doing like that fast like shadow boxing movement in place while closing, doing that like for no reason, like it doesn't help you at all, but like closing my eyes before the staring contest, so as soon as I say go, you open them.
Okay. Alright, he goes 3, 2,
1, go.
Alright, go ahead and make a constitution check for me.
Oh no, constitutions. Oh no.
I know that's your
+3.
dump, though. That's the dump of the dump
Big
on,
roll.
Wait, did it not roll?
No.
Oh, wait, here we go.
Big roll.
You say building check or saving throw?
Ability check.
No.
+3.
That's pretty good.
Wait,
Alright.
if you want to use it, you don't have to use it.
I lucky the 20.
The chat.
You stare and about 20 seconds pass, 25 seconds pass. You're beginning to strain the cool night. It's 11 o'clock. It's almost midnight at this point. Actually, the cool night air is really drying out your orbs here, but at the last second, you feel yourself about to give in, and then you see a piece of confetti fly through the air.
I will
and slams into the Cyclops' eye. He goes, ah!
Do 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 do.
Let's go.
Love that. That's
Oh,
amazing.
How does it feel? How does it feel? How does it
See, like,
feel?
as soon as he shuts his eye in pain, I'll be like, "Oh, come on! I don't look that bad."
Get it for me, please! I can't lift my hands above this, please!
Alright, one second, hold still. I'll help him out.
Alright, you pry out the, it's tough, the, perhaps Cyclops eye juice is much thicker and stickier than humans, and it's, you pry it out, but he says, alright, oh! You can see his eye is red at this point. He's like, oh! Alright, let me see what I got for you. Victory well earned.
While he does that, I'll turn around and like smirk at Roma and just give her a thumbs up.
Mickey is like standing in the background doing like the Jack Nicholson like slow nod. Like, yes,
Yeah.
just what I needed.
Here you go.
Finally
He,
won something.
He kind of like gives you in one form or another. He kind of has to remove himself from the the stand a little bit to give it to you. He gives you he kind of like, he's like pinching it because his hand is so big, but he hands you a small, what looks like sack of something when it's tied up. And he says, "Here's a packet of pixie dust for you.
Ooh.
Well earned."
Nice.
Well, thank you kindly. I appreciate it. And I'll step back, and I'll wait. It's just like, is it just like glitter, or does it have any effect?
Oh no, pixie dust has an effect. Yeah. I'm adding it to your inventory.
Okay, I'll just do that, like the same thing when you have like a sack of coins. I'll just like juggle it in my hand a little bit.
All right. He does remind you he needs to stamp your ticket, so you let your ticket get stamped.
Yeah.
And cool. He's like, "Oh, who's next?"
Me, I'm back.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm real loosened up here. So you ready?
Yes, let's do this.
All right, you count it down.
3, 2, 1.
Alrighty, he you can see his eyes already kind of quivering a little bit from the mighty blow it took. It's half of his eyeball is kind of red. Go make a Constitution check for me.
Do I get it at advantage because he's already hurting?
No, but he may roll with disadvantage.
Can
Ooh.
I, real quick, cast Silvery Barbs, and say to the Cyclops, half the eye, but double the cry, and
Oh my god.
he's gonna cast Silvery Barbs. So on the Constitution check, I believe McKeat has advantage,
Okay, so go ahead and roll again.
and the triggering creature must re-roll his d20 and use the old. So it gives him disadvantage and gives you advantage.
Oh, my
nice.
gosh, what the heck is this?
That's so funny.
Okay, so it gives him disadvantage.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Gives him disadvantage and her advantage.
Okay.
It's kind of a neat spell.
Oh man, you guys are so mean. And he doesn't last nearly as long, and he indeed does blink as well before you give out, Mickey.
Hey!
Yay! I won! I finally get a prize.
No hard feelings, good sir. It's strictly for the prizes.
No hard feelings from me. I'm not here for the prizes. I'm here for your pride.
Oh man, that hurts. Let's see.
I was just savaging this poor, like, Carney Cyclops.
Okay. The Cyclops is visibly upset, and the stage and the Witchlight hands, one or two of them that are nearby have to help him out of his thing and kind of comfort him a little bit and apply some eye drops to him and whatnot. And the stall temporarily closes, but not before you get a small canister, like a tin can of magical face paint.
Ooh.
Heat, which still can be applied to you, even though you have fur. It will just look a little different. But as an action, you can apply the face paint to yourself or another creature, and the recipient gains the benefit of a disguise self spell that lasts for 1 hour or until the recipient chooses to end the effect.
Nice.
So I will add that to your inventory and
That's awesome.
add its features in later.
Wait, we had to use our ticket, right?
Yeah, I'll take one off here. You've got 6 punches left.
I'll have to
I
make
also
a-
did the.
Go ahead.
I also did the Hall of Illusions.
Yeah, I need to take one from all you guys for that.
Oh.
I'll have to make a face painted version of Makit for whenever you decide to use.
Oh. Yes,
Spell.
that would be awesome.
Okay.
That's
You guys have successfully gotten away with your prizes, though I will say that a few of the stagehands are a little down about how mean you guys were to the Cyclops.
No.
What? I wasn't mean to him.
You guys were mean as hell to him.
I was mean. He
I
had
don't
it
think-
coming.
I don't think I was mean to him.
Well, just the group as a whole, Domino, not necessarily you.
Don't group me with these swines.
Kate
What
was.
did,
Whoa,
what did you?
whoa.
Whoa! What did you just say, Dominic? Hello?
And you thought we were gonna go this whole campaign without combat. Roll initiative, punk.
Oh my gosh, the ultimate betrayal. Can I give the Cyclops like a gold piece or something? I feel bad now.
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
I'll give him 1 gold piece and then say I'm sorry. And then walk away.
Fortunately, he has not returned to his stand. The
Oh.
stand is still has a very tiny.
Can I leave a note then?
temporarily closed, opening soon sign on it, as he is kind of at this back. There's a carriage behind these stalls, and he's kind of back there with a witchlight hand.
Poor guy.
Aww.
I didn't think we were that mean to him.
I'll take a piece of candy out of my pinata and put it on the table for him.
Okay.
Also, Zerk, could you send me a message with the face paint thing again? Like the description?
Sure.
Cool.
Okay. Hell, the
All right.
big top awaits.
Yes, and almost eerily on cue, another firework goes off, and this one spells out as it explodes in the air, Big Top Extravaganza, starting now.
That sounds like us.
That's our cue.
And you can already hear a few criers walking throughout the grounds, saying, "Make your way to the Big Top! The Big Top Extravaganza begins momentarily! If you want a good seat, better hurry there!"
As we walk, I'll just be like, very curious to see what Cade can get himself up to. You said he was a acrobat, is that right?
Indeed. He's an interesting one, that Cade.
Well, curious. Let's go.
Yep. Yeah. Go ahead there.
Alrighty. You guys just want to head back the way you came?
Sure.
Okay.
While we on the way, I might like peek by the Hall of Illusions, just like see if I see any signs of the halflings.
Okay. Yeah, so as you walk by, go ahead and make a perception check for me. I'm having you make a perception check because at this point, a lot of people are heading towards the
Yeah.
big top. You're kind of in a flow. It's going to be hard to stop and pick anything out.
Yeah, it was bad. 9.
With a 9, you can see that Candlefoot is still there. He's not sitting down anymore. He's actually standing up and talking to 2 Witchlight hands. It's far too loud for you to pick out their conversation, but you can make out. It seems like the Witchlight hands are questioning Candlefoot, and Candlefoot is he makes a motion. Yes, the Witchlight hands are talking to Candlefoot, yes, but Candlefoot is not speaking back, Mickey. But Candlefoot is making a motion. He's kind of holding up and like twirling around his ticket stamper in the air, while with his other hand motioning towards the entrance of the Halls of Illusion. And then kind of like throws his hands up in the air like with a shrug motion or a I don't know motion.
Curious.
There's no signs from what you can see in your roll of the halflings.
Okay. Nico probably won't say anything. He's just curious what the deal is with that whole thing.
Sure. You do see that the glass case is still situated in the space between the Halls of Illusions and the next minor stalls, but no one's really around it, and you still can't really make out what's inside of it without getting closer.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put a pin in that.
Sure.
We've all been there. Bad date, it seems. And Nico will keep going.
Alrighty. So, you all head towards the big top, and you're kind of held up because there's a massive crowd trying to get into a very small opening here. Let me go ahead and give you a description of this.
It's like, no, we
Yes.
haven't done anything. Never mind.
So again, the roof of this massive tent reaches towards the night sky. There are a lot of minor fireworks going off around it that don't really produce much sound. It's more of a visual spectacle that the event is about to begin. There are 3 swooping peaks topped with spinning gold stars. So these gold stars on the map actually are spinning and animated. There are painted wooded panels on the tent walls that swirl with colorful motion, much like a lot of the other tents, and they are displaying vibrant circus performances. The sound of music and laughter is drifting out through the front canvas door and just gets louder and louder as you get closer and closer. You eventually do get inside, and it is again a very large interior area. Let's see here. Yeah, so it's basically what you envision as the inside of a main circus attraction. There are stalls in a circular motion that ring all the way around like a large open ring area with a lot of vertical space for performers to perform. And as you enter and you try and find a space for all of you, you actually everyone go ahead and make a perception check as you head inside.
Finally a decent perception check. Been rolling sub 10 on those most of the night.
Okay. Yeah, Roma, you are very overwhelmed, girl. this is the most compact you've been since you've entered the carnival, mostly because it's an interior space, and a large majority of the carnival is trying to cram into the space. So you're kind of flustered and you're being hurried along. Thankfully, you're in the middle of the group. You're not being left behind or anything. But Nico, Makit, and Domino, you actually immediately see the perfect opening spot for you all. A space that is wide enough for about 5 individuals. And strangely, but also not so surprisingly, you see a familiar individual kind of on the side of this opening, sitting down, waving to you all, and you see Miss Tumblestrum waving at your direction to and notioning you to come forward and sit down.
Ah, this way, this way.
Looks like we're pretty lucky today.
Indeed. Our benefactor is most generous. Yeah, we'll file in here. Kind of scooch in between everybody.
Awesome. As you awkwardly make your way, you guys can't help but take your eyes off of the performance area. The main event has not begun, but you are already seeing like minor performances that are being performed to like keep the crowd entertained until the main event begins. And the performance area is very large, so it's not like just one performance is happening. There are almost 4 main sections of seats, and in the areas closest to them on the performance floor, there's almost a performance being performed for that section of the audience. So there's like 4 or 5 performances really going on at a time. You see a satyr that is kind of fiddling around on a fiddle, whose music is causing dancing plants to burst from the ground and start swaying along with him. You see some halfling contortionists who are all trying to fit into a hat box. It's actually strange. You see several halflings magically just stepping into a very small box and disappearing out of sight.
They're doing like the Austin Powers stair routine, where they just go down the stairs.
You see in one section something really spectacular but strange. You see almost a miniature circus present on the performance floor, and you see a tiny firefly circus being managed by an ogre dressed like a djinn.
Nice.
Kind of like with a so what's the person that leads an orchestra? It's a thing they twirl around.
Baton.
Yeah, baton. Like with a baton, orchestrating these fireflies and creating like small spectacles of lights. But you eventually sit down, and who's sitting next to Eliwick?
I can, I guess, unless anyone else.
Gesture to Domino and kind of give him an after you kind of thing.
Yeah, unless anyone else was running for the spot. Guess I'll just file in.
Mickey will just make a point to sit next to Roma.
Okay. There are 5 seats, and there are 4 of you, but Merton does take the 5th seat because he is still following along with you guys, making sure you're keeping yourself out of trouble, Makit.
Oh, Merton.
And yes. He perhaps chastise you for being a little mean to the Cyclops at the second visit of his attraction. But as you sit down, Domino, you're closest to Tumblestrum, and she kind of leans over and goes, "So what'd y'all get up to in this last hour?"
Well, we kind of wandered back the way we came to revisit some of the attractions down there. So the Halls of Illusion, took another shot at the Cyclops staring contest, won by the way, and yeah, then we found ourselves back here. Can't say I was too fond of the reflection in the mirror at the Hall of Illusion, but I mean, guess there's always room for improvement. myself.
The whole younger, older illusion.
Yeah, I don't really like thinking of myself without such great hair.
Well, that's the spectacle of a carnival. It shows you where you came from and shows you what you could be. The halls of illusion in a much more literal sense, but to elicit wonder in the younger folk and the adventuring type alike. Though it's not abnormal to hear that some folks see some weird things in the halls of illusions, from at least what I heard.
Oh yeah, well, any examples of such?
No, I mean, it's just exactly like what you said. Just it's a little strange to see yourself at a younger age, and even more so at an older age, especially in your twilight years. But it's just weird. A lot of people find it a little unnerving that a mirror would be able to discern that, but they just don't understand. It's just the way the magic works. It's not personal or anything.
Right.
Doublestrom, you said you were checking out some of the newer attractions in the Witchlight. Did you manage to see any of them before you came?
Actually, I just took a gondola for the last hour. It takes about an hour to get all the way around the perimeter on the swans, but it's peaceful, especially if you have a swan by yourself. They're very nice company. They love talking, and they love people that can listen. They ask really weird questions and really make you think about things, but
That sounds quite relaxing.
Yeah. But I believe the event's about to start here. I heard your friend is part of it.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what he has in store for us.
Well, I know Cade hasn't been with the carnival for very long, but I hear his act is quite spectacular. So I'm eager to see it too.
Well, yeah.
So, unless anyone else has anything that we want to discuss, and we will go ahead and begin. Let's see here.
Ready.
Ready.
Cade looks at the ringmaster. What's taking so long?
Nico will just strum on his mandolin, sort of to the little the tempo that the orcish conductor is kind of signaling. He's just kind of playing a couple chords along.
Alrighty. So you see, so you all see as the crowd begins to hush, and you see that the lights dim and a hush falls over the crowd. A second later, poof, a spotlight illuminates in the center of the performance area, and you see an elven figure sitting in a silver hoop suspended above the center ring by silk ropes. The elf wears a dazzling suit of diamond-paned mirrors and a pair of butterfly wings. His scepter is topped with a spinning vane, and he yells out after the light illuminates him, "Welcome, one and all, to this evening's extravaganza. I am Mr. Light. Prepare to be delighted." I will go ahead and show you what this individual looks like. So, we have this individual. This is Mr. Light.
Yo.
Ah,
That is a style.
So, over the music kicks up, and over the next hour, you see, you watch many wonderful performances. You see a bugbear who's introduced as Burly enter center stage and begin to perform impressive feats of strength. You see, after a moment, it takes a moment to especially wheel this performance out. You see a mermaid actually be carted out inside of a large glass, what looks like standing bowl, which kind of looks like this, and she is introduced as Palasha. And Palasha serenades the audience from a clamshell bathing pool with her kind of merfolk song that almost enchants the entire audience and you all as well. At one point, you see Candlefoot step to the center stage and silently play games with the audience members with his mimicry. You see fairy dragons with bright streamers tied to their tails perform dazzling acts of synchronized flying as a troupe of acrobats, clowns, and fire breathers all parade about the ground floor. And this goes on for a while. And, Eliwick is there with you all kind of taking in these sights. She isn't like oohing and awing with the ebbs and flows of the crowd. Like the crowd around you is just absolutely flabbergasted with all of this spectacle. And there are certainly some points where Eliwick seems taken with the performances, but she seems rather seasoned with the art of the spectacular in a way not akin to everyone else or yourselves, for that matter.
Just out of my own curiosity, does the mermaid have any interesting jewelry? Maybe something that signifies royalty by chance? Anything like that?
It's hard to tell. You're not front stage. You're a little bit far back. Go ahead and make the popular roll for the night. Another perception check.
Sure. Man, yeah, not great.
Yeah, she's not moving around much. Obviously, she doesn't have a ton of area to move, but the distortion of the water, as well as your distance, she does seem to be garnered with and decorated with, golden-esque jewelry. She has several hoops around her midsection. She has a golden metal top, some golden necklaces, but any distinctive identifiers of royalty or anything, you would have to get much closer to be able to find out. For all of these performers, they are introduced, and they are, as they exit the stage, Mr. Light does say, this performer, find out more at this attraction. And for Palasha, specifically, he says, if you would like to find out more or be enchanted once again by the beautiful Palasha, make your way to Silversong Lake. And perhaps while you're there, take a ride on one of our magnificently large gondola swans. Which kind of leads you to think that, you can go to Silversong Lake and perhaps converse on a much more personal level with Palasha if you're interested.
Okay. Cool.
And that goes for all of the other the performers. Burly the Bugbear is stationed in the staff area when he's not performing at the big top. Candlefoot in front of the Halls of Illusions, and so on and so forth. At one point, however, do you have a question before I go on?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Let me grab a few things here. At one point, however, the tune of the music does change as Mr. Light begins to introduce a very familiar to you all Cade Kalsang, and his performance that he will be entering the performance floor and putting on for you all. So
Nico gives out a big holler, a cheer, and a whistle, and
Yeah, Domino will clap too.
cool. Let me grab this. And Dan, if you would like to describe your performance for us, perhaps how you enter, what you do, and
After a short intermission of setup by other hands, there's now a large variety of obstacles and posts and basically an obstacle course 30 feet off the ground. And Cade begins to do a routine that's part like the entrance of the All Men's Wizards College from Harry Potter, where although you know he is not magic, many of the members of the Big Top are able to enhance a show. And so after Cade moves, there's like an after image behind him where it looks like multiple performers are aiding and performing the tricks when it's really just Cade.
Very cool.
So it's also like it's very the fighting style that Cade uses is very dance-like. It's more like a capoeira than taekwondo. And as this song plays, that's sort of a beating drum and a constant beat, but it's gaining momentum and becoming feverishly intense as Cade flips and dives through burning hoops and makes jumps while completely backwards, things that normally you wouldn't see anyone do, let alone in a circus. And Cade makes it look easy. And this goes on for a few minutes, and there are of course a few traditional trapeze bars that he uses to swing from one location to the next. And as the song reaches its what's the word?
crescendo.
Crescendo is fine, yes, thank you. Come on, brain. As the song reaches its crescendo, Cade has timed it with the peak apex of his swing, and as he reaches forward for the next waiting trapeze bar, it slips through his fingers and he begins to dive from the beginning point of 30 feet, addition to the jump and the swing, about 50 feet up, and he's plummeting.
Domino gasps.
Diving, free falling, and at about 15 or 12 feet above the ground, you see golden iridescent wings appear from Cade's back, and he soars back into the sky, and he is quite a sight to see. And the song concludes.
Woo!
Well, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I'll cheer.
Good show, Cade, me boy. Good show.
Zork, was that the natural ending of the song, or did you stop it?
It was the natural ending of the song.
Dude,
yeah.
I thought about that like all day at work. I was like trying to find the right music I wanted to, because Zork told me earlier that like I could narrate the show, and I was like, I don't have enough time to like write it out and time it. So that is so cool that just worked out. I'm pumped. And Cade lands on the highest beam and takes a long bow to each direction.
Fantastic.
Good show. Good show. Bravo. Bravo.
And for mechanic or for the rules reasons, Cade is a type of ASMR who once per long rest can fly.
Let's go.
And so he incorporates that into a faux fall into the finale.
That's dope.
Excellent.
And as you finish up your finale, Mr. Light takes to the stage once again and says, "Mr. Cade Kelsang, everyone!" And the crowd erupts with applause. Go ahead and make a performance check for me with advantage, Cade. Just to see how
Natural
you did.
ones.
2 natural ones.
That
Bro,
would be
don't.
very heartbreaking.
You hate to see it.
Alrighty. Yeah, I mean, certainly, as all performers do, the onlookers think it's flawless, but you know what you need to tweak up and whatnot, and there's always room for improvement, but you still did very well, and the crowd is just absolutely pleased. The big top is alight with laughter and applause.
The crowd's DC is like 3. It's your own DC, your internal DC.
But as you head off and start taking some of your equipment off the stage, Mr. Light actually says, "Well, now that our big top extravaganza is finished, at least with our planned performances, I would like to open our invitation and our ground floor to you, the audience. Would anyone like to come down and raise our spirits even higher, if it be even possible? Any performers out there that would like to take the stage at the largest audience the Witchlight will have to offer?"
Nico, that sounds like something you can probably excel at.
Nico's like tugging at his collar and like, I don't know. Tumblefoot, I have yet to hear you strum that beautiful instrument. Perhaps you'd like to.
She kind of gives you a sly look and says, "Yes, I bet she would, but there's always a time and a place, and this is more y'all's time than mine." She kind of gives you a little wink. And says,
I don't think she knows how to play.
Go ahead and make a. Would you have said that loud enough for her to hear?
If she's between me and Nico, then yeah.
She wouldn't be between you and Nico. She's on the end of your group.
I'll still say it was loud enough for her to hear. Because it's the funniest. It's the funniest way to do it.
Yeah, totally.
What do you want me to roll to goad her
Yeah,
into
go ahead.
performing?
No, I just wanted to know if you need to roll stealth or not. She'll lean forward. It's loud as hell in this tent, but she'll goes, "Well, maybe if you're a little nicer, you'll be graced with a performance one day. But I guess until then, you'll have to wonder."
Roma's just gaslighting our big bad.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
Mr. Light at this point, "Last call, any individuals, groups even, to take the stage? Yes? No?"
Well, I'd go up if the lot of you did. The encouragement earlier, it really helped. Otherwise, the nerves might get the best of me.
I mean, I'll be happy to back you up however you need. I probably will keep my own talents in reserve. I think I like to keep it a little more personal and like one-on-one with my talents rather than to a group at a large.
And Kate just pulls out her tiny little lyre and she's like,
Oh, let's.
"I will assist."
That's awesome. Yeah.
I can certainly perform some practical effects for you in the background in small amounts and limited time.
That would be splendid.
Yeah, I can actually do that too. I have some like spells for that too.
what have you, Roma? Otherwise, and he like really quickly ruffles through his bag, and he has like a really he was like knocking pan flutes earlier, but he has a really nicely carved one. Would you care to just blow on this a bit?
Yes, is it hot?
Well.
Here, please let me hold it. Did that work?
It's kind of like a.
Yeah. A weak air going through a pipe.
Oh, look, I'm a natural.
Whose air you calling weak?
Yeah, Nico will kind of start heading up with Makit and try to pull Roma behind him.
Yeah, I'll go with them.
Okay. Mr. Light is down in the center stage. You can tell people since no one has volunteered, people are starting to get up and like pick up their stuff and getting ready to leave. He goes, going once, twice.
Right here.
Oh, we have, it seems, a few individuals who will come down and take the stage, if but not for a moment. And he says, please, hands, assist them in taking the stage. And you see all the individuals that were getting up are kind of like, oh, mummy, oh, there's more. Like, what is this going to be? And they sit down, and not many people are filing out at this point. And you all head down towards ground floor, and with the help of a few Witchlight hands, jump over the railing. A few of you are short enough to where you can just really walk right underneath. And Mr. Light approaches the first individual that's kind of leading the group, which seems to be you, Nico. And he goes, well, with who do I have the pleasure of sharing the stage with this evening?
This is my troupe, the Wild Rose.
The Wild Rose.
We didn't agree on that name.
Oh, it seems the name is still in progress, but
Placeholder.
the Wild Rose will do just fine for now. And what will you be performing for us tonight, Wild Rose? Wild Roses.
Way to heaven.
The Lone Cowboys.
Makit, Roma, how about you name this one?
And I will add, as you think, I'll give you a moment to think. Cade, you are still not completely off stage, so you see them coming down if you would like to join them.
Yeah, Nico would definitely give him a nod if he sees him in the distance, kind of like a goading, kind of like, hey, come on.
Cade is, dabbing his forehead and, arms down with a towel, and he doesn't look like he's going to. And then you see a little blue glow zip around him, and you feel like you can just pick out some, do it! And you see Cade toss his head back, roll his shoulders, and walk in towards the group.
Yeah, we'll get Cade down here by beckoning Eowyn down.
And in the brief moment that you pause to come up with a name on the spot, Makit, Mr. Light turns and sees Mr. Kalsang joining. Says, "Oh, and it seems our last performer will be joining the Roses as well. This should be quite a fantastic performance." You can see he's just giddy with anticipation. He's like jumping up and down, hopping from one foot to another, and you can see the crowd is kind of getting into it as well. Back to, please tell the crowd what you will be performing for us tonight. A name of the act, or what we could expect. Don't leave us all wondering.
Wondering's the best part. You never know what you're gonna get.
Oh, I like that. Then by all means, please take the stage, and yes, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the Roses. He seems to, hasn't fully grasped. Can't quite fully remember your name. that you gave him. But he steps off to the side, and the lights kind of all like it's very the stereotypical of what you picture being on a dark stage, and then all the lights like shift and turn on to you all who are now standing in the center of the stage, and the crowd kind of like hushes down for a moment in anticipation.
I'm going to throw up.
Yeah, Nico is gonna just strum a chord, and he's gonna give a little bardic inspiration to Roma.
Yo, that's a lot of inspiration. All right, I'm feeling it. Nico, are we playing something upbeat? I can do some special effects. Upbeat or melancholy?
A bit on the slower side, just so everybody can keep up.
Okay. Is the ringmaster nearby at all?
Yeah, he is. He's standing off to the side, kind of like out of the light.
Or is there like big bright spotlights on us right now?
Yeah.
I'm gonna lean over to the ringmaster. Can you lower the lights a little bit?
Oh yes, of course. Sorry. He makes a hand motion, and you see that the lights like dim by like 10%.
A little more?
Oh yes, of course. He does it again, and they go down by another 10%.
One more.
He's kind of confused. He gives you like there's like a very brief moment of confusion. He's like, oh yes, and it dims again.
Once the tent gets really dim, Roma kind of raises both her hands up in the air, out of her robes, and lean over to Nico and say, I will follow your lead, and starts to twirl her hands around above her head as she exhales deeply, and in the area above the stage, bright and dark green lights start to swirl and shape until a big Aurora Borealis appears above the stage and casts the tent in bright greens and purples.
Whoa, that's awesome!
Wow.
That's super cool.
You can hear the crowd erupt with applause and oohs and ahs at your visual effects.
I'm gonna be standing behind Nico, and while I don't have as cool of illusions, I'll use prestidigitation to create images of like almost music notes, but like out of like very colorful like magical dust or whatever. Every time he strums his instrument, I'll make it like spritz out like magical music notes.
Okay. Yeah, you can see children are abandoning their parents to run down to the very edge of the railing, and Mr. Light chimes in as you kind of are doing this. Is, oh my goodness, this is absolutely wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. As you guys are able to continue.
Yeah.
Probably takes me a second to like figure out the timing to get the like notes as he strums. Like it's probably a little delayed at first, but Domino will pick it up.
Sure.
And just lastly, as a touch before we start playing, the air around or throughout the tent will just begin smelling like kind of like this sweet, like fruity scent, as part of my Feywild nature. And then he'll start to play. And he just kind of what's kind of surprising to you guys is that the song that he begins to play, he doesn't sing at all. He just sort of plays the mandolin and strums some chords, and it starts out kind of simple, but he plays a couple like really pretty licks throughout.
Sure.
And he sort of just tries to get more of an emotional sort of thing going to wind the crowd down as the last of this big top performance kind of happens.
Okay. Cade and Makit, are you guys adding anything to performance, or are you guys just kind of chilling?
She would have picked up on the notes that Nico's playing, and she would have tried to follow suit with her little lyre.
Okay.
Probably twirling kind of around him slowly.
Okay, so you're going to add some musical accompaniment to this as well. Awesome.
I don't have another enthralling performance, otherwise I'd cast that, but...
Awesome. Alrighty. Well...
Oh, I'm muted, sorry. Cade's not musically inclined, and his flight only lasts for a minute. So at this point, I guess he'd just kind of soulfully groove along. But
Okay.
I mean, the man can dance, so
Cool.
it's not like somebody's like white uncle like awkwardly jigging. Yeah, exactly, Kalen.
If anyone's wondering, these rascally players like to constantly post moment-appropriate GIFs in our Discord channel. So, fortunately, you can't see it, but yeah.
yeah.
One
Cool.
day we'll have to figure out how to somehow get them on stream.
I'll get that going for sure.
Well, as you all dazzle the crowd with these visual spectacles, and Makit and Nico begin to wind the performance down into a more subtle and serious note to leave everyone on, I would like, since you all performed as a group, we need to do I want a group performance check. So that means I need one of you to do a performance check with advantage.
Should not be me.
Definitely shouldn't
Probably Nico, if I was gonna guess.
Yeah,
I have a
no idea
decent
why.
charisma buff, but
I do have good performance. It's my one.
Or alternately, everyone could. Yeah, actually, let's just do that instead of
Yeah.
having it rely on one person. So everyone make a performance check with advantage.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how each.
those are
element-
persuasion. My bad. You can just delete those from chat.
I'll let everybody roll. Well, yeah, I guess everyone has to go twice,
Oh,
right?
let's go, Cade.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I told you, I got the schmooves, bro.
Okay, that's better.
And Roma, you add, I think, 5 to your roll
Okay,
as
so
well.
13.
Okay, so I need a few for those that have not rolled twice. Go ahead and roll twice.
Oh, we're rolling twice.
Yeah.
But
Oh, sure, yeah. Nah, not as good. My rolls have been
Okay.
kind of mid tonight.
Okay, it's okay. You all do very well. Roma, you're again still a little nervous, being the spotlight. It seems like just in 4 short hours, you've gone from trying to stay out of sight and get into the carnival unseen somehow to being the focal point of the largest event thus far in the carnival. Not only defeating everyone at custard eating, but also being center stage for the big top extravaganza. So your performance is you're a little shaky, but the group still does extremely well. Everyone is extremely impressed, and you wind the performance down in a more slow way, so there's not a massive eruption of applause as everyone is kind of like, drawn into your performance a little bit. But at the end, there is, a fantastic amount of applause, and they're keeping the hooping and the hollering to a respectable manner with how you ended the performance, but Mr. Light does take the stage and says, "Well, I've been around the multiverse here and there and back, and I have yet to see a surprise performance as magnificent as that. Once again, please tell the ladies and gentlemen of the Big Top Extravaganza who you are and where they can find you."
As he does, or as whoever speaks next, Domino will put his hat that he never wears but always seems to have on the ground in front of the group, right in front of the crowd.
Oh, nice. Good call. Oh, love that. Yeah, Choose isn't around to do his little bit, so... yeah, Nico will begin. I am Nico Rosmaros, and you could find me right across from the Big Top at the wagon labeled the Wild Rose. And then he kind of like gestures to over to like his co-performers for them to introduce themselves as well.
Fantastic! This group, the Wild Rose, the wagon across the way. Everyone, please give them one more round of applause. And it seems like generous donations are being accepted. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, as you exit the Big Top.
Domino's just like outstretching his hands and like bowing as if he was like a contributor to that performance at all.
Everyone gives one more large round of applause, and you do see individuals begin to stand up as the lights become full once again. And before he turns and goes, Mr. Light says, "Simply magnificent. I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you all so very much for your contribution to the carnival." He does a big toothy smile and says, "Now, I must be off. Please enjoy yourself for the rest of the evening." And he bounds off in a very merry and jaunty way.
My friends, it is a pleasure to perform with you. I must say, I didn't expect you to go through with it, Roma.
I mean, it's not like I wanted to be down there anyway. It's just you would have failed without me, so it seemed okay to help.
That much is certainly true.
Anyway, and I turn my lights off when I say anyway. Anyway,
I check the hat.
So how much did we get paid per minute of the performance?
You do end up as people begin to siphon out, and the front is open once again, and it reaches a point where you're able to get off. You do grab the hat, and it does seem like, you know, there is some jingling coming from there. You all cross the railing and head towards the front of the Big Top where you can check. And inside the hat, there is a total of 15 gold, 6 silver, and 7 copper.
Nice.
Say that again.
15 gold, 6 silver, and 7 copper.
Nico sees it, and he sort of says, well, you've all worked very hard for this, and he's not going to take any of the share for himself, so y'all can split it between yourselves.
Domino will just shrug and offer to the next person that wants to take their share. Also, I need, what's 10% of whatever we earned? Because I get bonus that because of my Pentacles subclass.
That's right.
Let's just say 1.5 gold.
1.5 gold. Perfect.
Yeah, so add 1 gold and 50 silver.
And then, alright, so who's taking a cut of the gold?
You guys can figure that out. Later.
Okay.
As you exit the Big Top, However, unless anyone wanted to stay, you do glance over the direction where Eliwick was, and it does seem to be gone.
Oh.
You're not quite sure if she was there for the performance, but she is no longer where she was sitting.
Now, I can't remember. Did we ask her? Is she part of the carnival, or is she an attendee? Like some.
I
Never asked.
Yeah. Never thought to ask.
She's an intruder.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little creeped out by it, to be honest.
She's creeping.
Still curious.
Who is Eliwick?
Yeah, I'm still curious, but if she's not part of the carnival and is highly invested in all of us, it's definitely a weird situation to be in.
Yeah.
Well, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And Nico kind of crosses the fairway and pets his pony.
And as you're having this conversation, you guys are exiting the big top, and you hear a gruff, deep voice say, "Excuse me, folk." As you exit, and you turn around, and you see a large ogre. Dressed in overalls, and he has a pumpkin hat, the top half of a pumpkin, fashioned in like the top portion of a jack-o'-lantern that's fitted on his head. This individual looks like this, and at this point you would know who this is. This is the ogre that went by the name of Burley, who was performing the feats of strength at the extravaganza. He was one of the first acts, and he says, who's in charge of your group?
Well, that'd be me. And Domino stepped forward.
And can I get your name, sir?
Actually, that'll be him. And this is the man you want to talk to right now, and I'll pat Nico on the shoulder and offer him up.
Yeah, Nico will say, yes, his name is Domino. That is his name.
And what's your name, sir?
Oh, my name is Nico.
Nico. All right. Well, Mr. Light seemed to like your performance enough to where he has invited you to the carnival owners. You could see him kind of stumbling over his words. He kind of reaches up and scratches his beard. Their wagon, Mr. Witch and Mr. Light would like to meet you at your earliest convenience. No rush, just sometime before the carnival ends. They'd like to have a word with you all.
Well, what an honor.
The wagon can be found behind the big top in the staffing area. Just whenever you'd like before the carnival ends.
Well, we'd be pleased to meet them. We'll make sure to stop over shortly.
Thank you, sir. And he turns and heads to the north, and then disappears around the north side of the big top.
Quite a nice one, that one. But Domino, everybody knows that you're the leader of this troop.
I mean, look, I'm happy to help push this group in the right direction, but I certainly don't need to be the front-facing face of the group. It should be all of us. At least for now.
Yes, indeed. Well, I am in no rush to go meet the two of them. Perhaps we enjoy a bit more of the carnival before we do.
Might be a fine idea.
I would like to go to the mystery mine.
And I wouldn't mind checking out this, what was it? The Silver Song Lake for, I don't know. Want to go see what's over there.
Someone said that the swans gossip, right?
Yeah, the swans. Yeah.
Indeed. Nico catches Domino's drift there, and he kind of says, "I too would like to meet the mermaid. I'm writing a song about one, and it'd be interesting to meet one in person."
Well then, perfect. We should head over there after the mine. If we want to go there first.
Zerk is rolling dice, which is scary.
Like that. Not like that at all.
Yeah.
Makee would be happy with either one. She'd be happy to go gossip with swans, or ride the mine. So, if we want to see the mermaid first, we can do that.
I think the mines are closer. We could probably do that first. I think. Aren't they like to the south? Yeah, mystery mines to the south, so.
Okay. You guys have this conversation, and you start walking down to the south where you know the mystery mines are. Domino, I would like you to make a perception check for me.
Oof.
Okay. Domino, you know exactly where you keep your money. And that location has felt heavier since you left the Big Top Extravaganza. But for some reason, you're not getting that sense of weight from that location anymore. And you turn and you grab your coin purse, which isn't exposed by any means.
Mm-hmm. I would typically have that tucked away. I wouldn't have it.
Yeah, absolutely. But you open it up, and the entirety of your coin purse is gone.
I quit. Did this just happen?
You feel like it just happened, yeah.
I look around for whoever's walking away from me.
You look around, and with your 10 perception check...
if it's related to my money, I would burn a lucky for this. Or was it already going to get me a result?
Your 10 was to... Sorry, I jumped the gun here. Your 10 was to determine whether or not you felt it or not. And you didn't roll high enough to where you could catch it in the act. You rolled just high enough to where you could ascertain it happening within a short amount of time of it actually happening, and not like going a day and waking up and trying to buy something before you realizing it. So yes, you can turn and make another perception check for the crowd. But again, this is the exit crowd of the extravaganza. It's a little thick, so it's going to be tough, but you can definitely look.
The exact same.
I'm going to use a lucky.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Oh
my god.
No, dude. Oh, no.
I thought you said it was a lucky.
Can I use multiple luckies in one turn? I've never done it before.
Makee goes, bruh.
Let's see.
He really wants to cheese this roll.
My brother.
Dude,
The money's gone, give up.
whole cardcaster subclass is about my addiction to money.
Something wrong there, Domino? You seem out of sorts.
He's still frantically looking around to see if he can spot whoever might have taken it. Some little thief took all my money.
I think it's just one per roll. I think it's whenever you make a roll, you can use one.
All right.
You look around and you don't see anyone dashing away by any means. You do see an individual about 35 to 40 feet away from you, walking away from you at a normal pace in this direction to your west. And they only catch your eye with a 10 because they're hooded. And no one else is really hooded. Other people are dressed in outfits and stuff, but this person's hood is not part of any outfit. It's not colorful. It's just kind of a muted, kind of pale blue cloak that is drawn on this person's head, obviously. And they're walking away from you, and that's all you can see. You can only see them really from the shoulders up before they disappear in another moment as another group of people in that area walks by.
I will break out and run after that individual.
Real quick, I'm just gonna reach up and just make sure my coin purse is there too. I just want to make sure he didn't double dip or anything.
Okay, yeah, yours seems to be there.
Okay.
Yours is fine.
Thank goodness.
Okay.
Well, I suppose I'll start following after him, not in a full sprint like he is, but just sort of head that way.
I'll as I'm parting through the crowd, I'll shout out, "Hey, you!" and see if I get a reaction out of them.
Okay. So again, you saw this person for a brief moment in the distance, and now you don't see them, and it's not like you can openly break out into a sprint. You're having to do the awkward crowded high school hallways between classes type thing. You're having to push past people, and you head in that direction, and while yelling this, and people are kind of trying to get out of your way, you're yelling in an aggressive way, kind of, so they're giving you looks, but you head in that direction, and I think that's where we will go ahead and end the session for the afternoon.
Nice.
Specifically make note of anyone that might hasten their pace at me yelling about my money.
White money.
Me money.
Me
Mr.
golden
Capsicum.
dollars.
Yeah,
All right.
that's fine. I was thinking about going back over this way anyway, because I want to check out that little fortune teller box thing, or whatever that is
Glass
over
case
there.
thing.
Yeah, that glass case. Yeah. I'm wondering what's up with that.
I'm glad McKeith thought about going with that lady into the maze.
Oh, she said no.
Well, I didn't know about the thing, so I was just like, oh, well, she's just going to go after him, and walked away,
Yeah, on Bram.
Yeah, that was kind of the thought, but...
He asked because she was like, there's that creepy thing in there, and then she was also like, I don't want to go back in there.
Yeah, totally. It made total sense. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will add a last note. Cade, you are particularly taken aback by the invitation through Burley from the carnival owners, who you all know are named Mr. Witch and Mr. Light. You do know, even in your brief time in the carnival, that Mr. Witch and Mr. Light do not host audiences very often. In fact, many times employees come and go without ever even meeting them on a personal level, right? Obviously you see Mr. Light in capacities like you just did at public events and hosting things and whatnot, and the bigger events. Mr. Light even less, or sorry, Mr. Witch even less so, who you haven't seen yet. But you know that either you're in a lot of trouble, or something else akin to that is probably up if you're being invited to see them. But Burley did say that they liked your performance, or at least Mr. Light did, so you may be inclined to think it's for a good reason, hopefully.
Peculiar, yeah. Yo, by the way, Dan, that the whole shtick was really, really cool. Your performance.
Nice. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I was literally like I had watched those videos and stuff like early at launch and earlier this week. I was thinking about it, but I didn't really have it nailed down, and so I was still sort of ad-libbing to some degree. So I would just like talk my thoughts out, and then I would be out of breath, and so I had to like carefully not be like.
Totally.
But
I love
that was fun. I really liked this session.
Yeah.
Alright, I gotta hop off.
Alrighty, guys. I'll go ahead and end the stream there. Thanks a lot, everybody. Later.
Yeah. It's fun.
Bye.
You got to end that with me.